Okay, been a bit remiss, got some stuff done and I haven't filmed. I've had a mate come over, give me a hand with this, so obviously looking at the double RS bolted up. I haven't done the steering rack yet. The reason we did this straight up is because we had no join across here, so now we've got to join the wheels. It's not set up exactly right yet. Just turn the headlight on here. I got new boots, I got them yesterday at Rare Spares. So these are really good quality tire ends, but they're old but not used, if you know what I mean. So I've got new boots because I haven't even got them installed properly yet, and we'll get that done. But now we can move the car back and forth if we have to. Park brakes all set pretty good. Cleaned it up underneath here pretty well, still a bit to go. As you can imagine, there was just so much dust from the job the boys did. Now, one of the other things I've got done is up in here, so really hard to film. I'll bring the car down a little bit. We'll just drop this. At the moment, just trying to structure the job, as it were. Try and make some room in the shed. I was aiming to get the fuel tank in this afternoon, but I've got a few other things to do. It's not something I'll try on my own. It's just too heavy, too awkward. I've already got a damaged back. I don't need to damage it anymore. Let's bring that down onto the things. And we can go up under here. Now, we're pretty happy with the alignment now due to the work we've done. I had my mate over yesterday and we did a little mod to the car for the boot hinges. Now, I modified this car years ago to take gas struts. Now, these are the hinge pins. You'll see that well. For the boot. There's two of them and they're just held in position. They just sit in. There's a little lug that comes in behind here. Once you bend it back out, trust me, it's going to break off. But these grooves in here, we measured them at 15 thou either side. So look, quite a lot of meat has come off, which was giving us free play. And with the gas strut in, point of case, which we'll go up and under, have a look. In we go. Fitted here. I did this years ago, nice little mod to get rid of the springs. I'm going to bend this up flat. But the pin, I don't know if you can see that, is up in there. And it's high tensile steel, so it's got rid of most of that play. So all I'm going to do now, I'm just not quite happy that it's just not exactly right there. So I was going to undo the two nuts on this side and push it in, just that bee's dick, I suppose. Don't want to swear, but you know, tiny little piece, tiny little amount, and that can go in. Note, we had a look at the alignment of everything, and it's not a good line down here, but nothing can be done, Mum. You close those two doors up, that's flat. That point there is flat. That's perfect all the way down. That's perfect all the way down. It's just, they didn't make them that good back in the day. Straight up. It's as good as it's going to get. Obviously really, really high-end body shops would do something about that. But man, you're just talking mega bucks, and you know, blind man be happy to see it, I think. So I'm going to get the shocks in, brakes in, do all those sort of peripheral things to start bolting the car up just to get stuff out of the shed. Things I hadn't thought of, a new one of those, interconnect for the pipe for the fuel tank. They're the boots for the tire ends. I bought a set for the shock absorber lowers. Again, these shocks they haven't done 1000k. These are Petter's short stroke. They're a really good shock absorber. But just the car's sitting over time. Really, they've had no use. The bigger rubbers have survived all right, so I'll reuse them. But as you can see, it's just buggered, just from sitting there. So we'll use the Super Pro on the bottom. I couldn't be bothered replacing them. You can do them real easy. They'll last. They've had no use, like I said, so it's just these little ones. They're flogged out, so we'll replace them. No, they're not cheap. They're about 35 bucks. You know, you can't just, well, you can if you want, just keep spending. I can't remember what I've done with the badges. And speaking of the badges, so, again, courtesy the panel bit, it did all that fantastic work 20 years ago I keep rabbiting on about. When he put the quarters in, well, there's no holes, you'll notice. So we're going to have to map it and drill into our nice new paint. Yay. Looking forward to that, not. But anyway, I've just got to draw that out really carefully. Oh, excuse me. Something else I didn't think of or wasn't in the body kit that I bought from Rare Spares. Guy bought a couple of years ago. Apparently this is in there now. All the grommets for your harnesses, for your engine bay, and also the brake lining grommets. So they go in. You can see that hole there. Look, that kit wasn't too much money. So just things you don't think of. It's just it's a never-ending thing. These are to hold the brake lines down. Look, once you pull them out, they're pretty much knackered. So they're a bit of a one-off use, I reckon. So new set of those. This is to hold the scoops. So you could use the old ones, but you know, you're going to this length. I've just gone, oh, just keep spending. It's just how it goes. I'm going to put the door handles on first opportunity. One thing I've noticed as well, this is the new door handle. The dogs managed to get out of the box and Jody found it out the front yard, along with the central locking kit, which was destroyed. I think the neighbours knew I wasn't happy with the dogs that morning. No, that's one I've painted. That's the wrong one. That's a silver one. Where are the black ones? What have I done? Probably doesn't matter. Where are we? No, I've put them somewhere last night, last thing that I was doing. Doesn't matter. Point of case is the original ones are that gloss. So I'm just going to take this out and give that a coat of paint now so it matches, because it's just going to stand out pretty badly. There we go. They're over here. I'll put them next to the wash bay so I can wash them. And that's factory. Except that scratch to buggery. That's not going to clean up real good. And I'm assuming these ones here, the rears, they will clean up. They've got scratched around in transport. Quick update. Ran out of memory card when I was doing the last bit of film. Put the sway bar in the other night. I'll lift the car up in a minute and just show you the new stays for that. Shock absorbers finally fitted in. Bumper bar mounts, can't remember if I'd done that last time. Just tidying up a lot of hardware. Just nuts were missing there. These bolts weren't fitted to the fenders. Bit of panel alignment issue as well. Here, for example, just like the rear door, you can see here it's bang on. It's bang on, and the points are nice. So we come down, but we've got a step here, and I've adjusted the bolt under here. But what's happening is then it pulls it in there. So there's not a lot I can do, I don't think. Maybe when the wheel well panel goes in, there's another issue. I have actually fitted them into place. I've got the top one in. But they're back to front, as in the hole the bolt goes through should be, say it again, Blue. The panel wants to sit on the outside or the inside of the wheel, inside that lip. You probably can't see it as black as. But it sits, and I remember when I first pulled the car apart, it sits, it has them in here. But that's not how the book depicts it, and then it doesn't line up with the top holes. I'll film that in detail later, but I'm going to have to do something about that. It's not right. That probably sounds like dribble, but anyway, that's what I normally sound like. Tanks in. Got the new joiner there, got that from Rare Spares. Got a fitting coming from EMA in Albury to go onto here with a normal hose, like just a straight tube, so the breather pipe will fit onto that. At the moment it doesn't go. The pump, this is a good thing about the Holly pump. As you can see, you know, I can turn that to wherever I need it, and that's going to be fantastic once we start going and setting that up. Rear shocks in. I just thought I'd show you just the process, why this takes so much time. I mean, you can just go and buy new bolts, but that's an expensive process too. So these are the battery tray bolts, and these are just the clips for the guards. So I sandblast them, I clean every thread on the wire brush, and then I paint them all with this stuff because it dries real quick. Caliper paint, satin. It looks good, and it's quick, but it's just a process, every last little bit of hardware. I'll just lift the car up quick and just have a look at these stays I was talking about. That'll do. I can't remember if I'd had the badges in. They come up well on the end, but like I said, unfortunately the ones from Rare Spares, yep, I could fit them up. There's the left-hand butt, and here's the butt. I'd have to enlarge the holes, and I just didn't want to do that. So I found the old holes. These ones were welded up, and so I had to grind them out carefully with a Dremel and drill from the inside out, put a bit of tape over. That stopped any problems with the spray bog chipping out. So anyway, so these are the new Super Pro sway bar stays. Interesting. I used the actual the little spacer from the old one as a measure here. It didn't work out with these new bushings. These just start warping. This is a really heavy bar, mind you. I think it's 29, might be 27, but it's a big sway bar. Picked it up for $10 at Wreckers in Blacktown 25 years ago, but that's another story. So they look a bit warped with the car weight off wheels. But when it's sitting on the ground, it all sits nice. So these Super Pro bushes, if you just keep applying torque to them, they just warp really bad, where the rubber ones will just crush down. So I've just point a case that this gap here is bigger than with the old rubber ones. I don't know. It's just how I found it. It went together. Brake calipers are in. I'm trying to make real estate at the moment. There's another thing. If you've got an old XABC, probably XY as well, you're supposed to lock wire these bolts. So I know what to say about that. For me, as an aircraft engineer, it's what we do as a practice. But at the end of the day, just find somewhere where it's not going to intrude on the wheel. 1, 2, that it's pulling in direction of tightening, and just finish it off neat. Well, it's up to you, but that's what I do. Don't think there's much else that I've got done, really. Not a lot. Just the shock absorbers are in. That's the only VP we got, visual progress. And yes, it is a limited slip diff. There we go. So what I want to get done is pull the guts of the car out now. So I was going to put the bumper bars on. I might put the rear one on. But I need to take the dash out completely. The pedal pan's got to come out. That's got to be modified for cruise control. Got to put a switch on that for the clutch. So it's just a process. So if you're doing a project like this, for God's sakes, don't try and think you're going to have it done in a short time frame. It depends on the level you're going to. Maybe I'm going to a pretty deep level, but yeah, it takes time. Everything's painstaking. So, but anyway, enough of my ranting. I'll paint these bolts in there for the battery tray and we'll get them in. So I put the first door handle in. There it is there. I'm not sure if I write the paint job on. I did that in gloss and I'm sort of kicking myself now. I don't know, past the 1 metre rule. The original ones were gloss, so I'll probably leave it that way. Now, that's what we're sort of dealing with now. This is what the old door locks look like. I've tried to clean them up, but because they're CAD plate, it's pretty much come off. So sandblasting wasn't an option. Cleaning them up with Scotch-Brite just made it look like shitty metal, to be honest with you. So come up with this. I don't think that looks too bad. I think that'll look alright and sort of going with the theme of everything else that I'm doing. Not that I'm trying to make a theme for this car as such. But anyway, these are an interesting little bit of kit actually. Anyone's interested? Probably not. This device here is your lock, unlock. So, and when you put it into lock, all it does is reposition this paw here. And so that when you go and try and open the door, it misses that paw. So if you unlock it, try and get this, you can now see that that paw lines up. Again, lock it, pulls it across, out of harm's way, or thieves' way. So that's the outside bar there, and as you can see it misses. On the inside, you hook it up to here. So on the inside, the arm comes along the door, so it sits in the door like that, and once again, door's locked, kitty safe I suppose. And then you unlock it from the inside where my finger is, boom, unlocked. Pretty clever, I think. Anyway, it helps to know how these things go before you go putting it into the car, because now, you know, if you've got an understanding, okay, what has to hook up to where, okay, that there is my door opener, that there is my door lock, right? It'll help you hook it back up, because if you've done what I've done, I've completely and utterly stripped these doors to nothing. They're just nothing. And so you've got to rebuild that whole mechanism. So it pays to understand these things. Just sit down and work it out and go, okay, all right, that's how that'll go. So it'll make it easier when I go to put the mechanisms in and fit the central locking kit, of course. Anyway, that'll do. So same as before, and I was talking about the latch mechanism and how, oh, well, what time is it, mate? Is it chuck the ball time? Excuse me. You can see what some of the good CAD plating that's left, but where it's been exposed to weather, it's just no good. And cleaning up Scotch-Brite just turns into shitty looking metal, really. So I've decided to do the same with the striker. Took a shortcut, it bit me right in the arse. Two things happened. One, I didn't prep solid after I sandblasted it, so I sandblasted again. And that caliper paint is really resilient. But yeah, and the temperature's dropped. It's probably at 5 degrees right now, and it's just too damn cold. for the paint to work. So yeah, don't shortcut shit blue. But anyway, there it is there. I don't think that looks too bad. I think that's a better look than you know, just cleaned up old metal. You know, the guys went to such an effort to do all the arches nice. I just reckon that's a better solution. It's the witching hour, can you tell? So it's got a towel in there so I don't damage anything. I'm going to leave the door handles gloss actually. I reckon it looks alright. Looks alright. So we'll stay with that. I'll just and again you can see you try and clean this metal up and it just won't come up. And I noticed that this nylon bit has gone brittle on the other bit. It's all cracked on the right hand side, so left hand. I don't know. I might have to get new ones of that. Currently I've got it taped up so I can't really show you. But I better put a towel on there so we don't cause any damage. No, that's about it. It's just getting end of the day. It's freezing. It is winter. Okay, just something I thought I might highlight, reference putting door handles into XABCs. Where you could cause a little bit of problem for yourself if you're doing this is these little studs. So when you're putting it into the car, you got to do two things. One, and I won't be able to do this single-handedly, I don't believe, and I don't want to attempt it, but you need to separate the handle, get the handle up, feed it up and in, all the way, so this, where my thumb is into the car, and then bring it up. Now I've just realised that one of the studs had come out and I've screwed it in, but it didn't go in all the way. And I remember doing this years ago on this car actually, and you got a really good chance of scraping this bottom lip. And you don't want to do that if you've done what I've done and spent a fortune on a new paint job. So just a bit of tape in here just to help prevent that. Two hand, don't attempt it one hand, like I'm just not going to do it. But that's the trick. Put a bit of tape on the bottom, make sure you hold it separated like that when you're putting the thing in. All right, two hand job, and in all the way till where, like I said, where my thumb is, the lip or flange on the door handle casing itself is as close into the car, holding it up and in. Just be aware of those little studs, and that last action got a good chance of taking that out. And then, of course, before you then, once it's in position, before you go do anything up and putting the back shell on it, that's the back shell there, and the two 10mm nuts, take the tape out. Cool. Righto, big day, big freaking day. Mangy popped over this afternoon, good on him, legend. And there we go. There's nothing to see here because it's all out. So dash out, and this is one of the big problems with these old XCs, particularly the XCs, because they were the first of the models that really started jumping into lots of plastic, and there's lots of plastic broken. So all along there is all broken, so I'll have to reconstruct that, and I'll use Metal Set A4. I like it, it's a good product. So just put a bit of tape there and you construct it, build it up. It takes a few goes and you can sand it back. The other thing is just the level of dust. Just, I mean, look at it. So you know, there was no point just putting the car together without pulling this out. It had to happen. So I'll get this all cleaned up. Big crack, big crack, big crack, big crack. big crack, bit missing, crack, crack. You're getting the picture, crack. So I'll go through and restore all that. Crack there, you know, bits of plastic missing. I've done my best to keep broken bits and try and jigsaw it back together. And another thing, we followed the maintenance manual to get this out. It missed so much. It's not right. So if you do this, don't rely on the book. I'm telling you, it's wrong. And I'm someone that reads books for a living. I work on aeroplanes. So, yeah. And if you've got the factory manual, it misses so much. Mainly where all the loom intersects and clips on or screws on, or the climate controller there. And just be really careful if you've got air conditioning already fitted to the car. There's one of the other things I want to do to this car. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. A light shithouse in here. Sorry about that. But that little plunger there, or sorry, connection there, has got all the pneumatic lines that go and control these little pots like that one there. And that one there, because this has got, I guess, the original version of climate control, air conditioning. Little things like that, little traps, like that little clip down there, that operates the cable which operates that little arm down there. You've got to get that out. There's bolts hidden all over the place, but effectively the dash does sit onto that lug and that lug. So what I'm going to do is this is where we're going to get into the wiring. So you can see all that rubbish wire there, it's all getting cut away. That's the old central locking system. Before I put the dash back in, this is where I'm going to start getting into rewiring the car. You can see it's just a spaghetti mess, but it all has a logical use, I suppose. But any shitty old connection like one of those bullets there, that's going to go. And I'll just tidy this up. So I was saying I might be ready to go back in a few days, but it's just dawned on me that no, actually, it's not even going to be close. And I'll probably drop the vent boxes out as well. And while we have the opportunity, I'll get in and put knockout rust all through the A-pillars, because I've got good access to them with all the wiring is removed as well. So it looks like a really daunting task. It's actually not, to be honest with you. Wiring is probably one of the most misunderstood jobs you'll do. It's just a bit of patience and a bit of logical order to everything. So we've got to here. Pretty happy that Mange popped over this afternoon. I really didn't think I was going to get to here today, but I have. So fantastic. I'm going to try and buy a new radio grill because that one's cracked. I can't repair that and make it look pretty. I can put glue underneath it, but there's a big chip missing out of it. And it may be case or Syrah, and it can be done later anyway, but I'll try and get that. And the other thing is getting into the aircon ducts. If you can see in there, I mean, you just don't want to be turning the bloody aircon fan on and just, yeah. So days of cleaning ahead of us. All right. Good day had, really. All the doors work. And as you can see, I was talking about the seat bolts. They're knackered. Like I said, you can just buy bolts, but have a look how warped that is. And that one, you know, I'm pretty sure these are off my old ZH Fairlane. I wrecked the Fairlane and bought this car for $2,300 when I bought it, and I got it on the road with LPG and 4-speed conversion, and the whole thing cost me $1,100 after I wrote the Fairlane off. So she had cancer that I couldn't fix back in the day. But good day, really good day today to get that out. So they're a bugger. So now we can start really moving forward. Cool.